We're here today with the 10th episode of the Herm Cet Show, a weekly podcast about all things basketball, covering hot takes, news, and anything else you want. We're going to cover the World Cup today as it came to an end, and I'm excited to talk about it. I'm joined by my co-host Ethan Cet, and I'm Nate Herman. E, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be back in Houghton. It's our second episode being back at school.
That's right.
And just a lot of disappointing basketball recently to talk about.
Not great.
We can't be too negative because the viewers at home,
Yeah.
we bring down the energy.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're still here to talk about good and bad basketball.
We're going to keep it positive, but we're also going to keep it realistic.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah,
We keep it 100 around here.
Keep it 100. About USA and Canada, we'll start with the bronze medal game because, we're homers. And we're going to talk about
That's
USA
right.
first. USA versus Canada. Canada embarrasses the USA, knocks them out. The USA does not even medal in this FIBA World Cup. Not a good showing. It was kind of disappointing from a lot of guys. Brandon Ingram, whole no-show the whole tournament. Jaren Jackson Jr. can't rebound to save his life, even though he's 6'11". But not a great showing from the U.S. And Dillon Brooks dropped 39 on their heads. So who do you want to talk about first?
I just want to talk about just Team USA, just as a general team first.
Yeah, sure.
And, before I say anything, I just want to say I made the worst prediction possibly of all time. I may have called Victor Wembanyama's first two games perfectly.
Yeah, impressive.
Accurately. It went kind of viral a little bit on TikTok. We had a lot of views. But I did not strike the gold with Team USA when I said Brandon Ingram is going to be the go-to player in this tournament. He's going to be the go-to guy down the stretch. Boy, was I wrong. Brandon Ingram, let me come to your practices and teach you how to play basketball. Let me teach you how to shoot. I averaged 5 points a game my senior year of high school, and I averaged more points than you did in this tournament, what it felt like. But you know what? We can't stay negative. We can talk about the positives. Austin Reaves, he had 23. It's around there. Austin Reaves, Homeboy Laker podcast.
That's right.
He was impressive throughout the tournament, minus getting targeted on defense.
He was very good offensively. I think that was a consistent thing you could see.
Yeah.
Austin Reaves was a good offensive player throughout the tournament.
That putback dunk he had.
That's right. Putback dunk. He switched hands on one. He's nasty. Good passer. Tyrese Halliburton ended up being the lead assist guy. But Austin Reaves I thought was good. But overall, pretty disappointing from a lot of guys.
It was.
Paolo Banchero, after the first game, didn't really quite step up like a lot of people thought he might. And, Bobby Portis was surprisingly okay, So it was disappointing from a few guys, but surprising from others. Anthony Edwards wasn't quite what you wanted him to be at times, but overall I think he was pretty clearly the best guy on the team. Mikal Bridges really good in terms of the final game and graded out according to Hoops Hype as the best player on Team USA. So, that must mean something. The Nets are about to pop off. We can talk about Team Canada. The brothers up north, 39 for Dillon Brooks. Had the boxing gloves out after the Slovenia game. He was ready to go. Got Luka ejected. They went back and forth a little bit. Was one of the most viral players of the tournament, as he always is. He's always going to be in the news. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I believe, at 31 in the game. Very good. Was good all tournament. And R.J. Barrett had 23. Really good big three for Canada, and I think they're going to be even better going forward. They got Jamal Murray coming in. They got Andrew Wiggins, didn't play either. So Team Canada, I think, is going to be pretty good for years to come, and it should be a good rivalry.
Seeing Dillon Brooks, his comments today about being the villain, and he just wanted to, be like Kobe. That was the quote today.
Yeah.
And I read that quote, and the fact that Kobe Bryant and Dillon Brooks were mentioned in the same sentence. And the problem was that he backed it up.
He did.
He had 39, the villain, defensive player of the tournament. And, if we want to talk about this tournament on a world scale, best defender in the world, apparently, by some people.
Yeah.
So
himself included.
And, he will call himself the best defender in the world. And, I'm a okay with Dillon Brooks guy. I think he's kind of fun to watch at times. And then other times I'm like, please, send him to Siberia, send him away. But, he shot the ball really well, and he's played good defense. Besides the game against Brazil, where he was lost in the sauce. He was getting torched on defense against Brazil. But probably nobody watched that game because it was an early morning and I just woke up somehow. But anyways, props to Dillon Brooks. Props to Team Canada. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they really went out and told him, shoot the ball every single time. We do not care if you miss. Yeah. And he made some shots. So, Team Canada, a basketball system on the rise.
Impressive for sure. Just a pretty entertaining game overall. I mean, Mikal Bridges hit that 3 to force overtime. And it was pretty back and forth, but at the end of the day, USA is a team that was pretty heavily favored to win gold, end up not medaling at all. It's pretty rough. 3 losses in the tournament altogether, not something you'd like to see. And I saw Dillon Brooks' point total was like the highest since Dirk had 41 or something, and it was quite the showing from Brooks. But we can just talk about Team USA and what's next for Team USA, because they have to recover from this. If you watch that Redeem Team on Netflix, that's basically where they are right now. They're saying, please, someone help us. But I don't know if there's a Kobe to come in necessarily to help them. But we'll see what it ends up turning into, because it wasn't great. I think the coaching staff probably has to be reevaluated. No offense to Steve Kerr, but wasn't the best coaching decisions I've ever seen in my life. Eric Spoelstra on the staff, but not the head coach, was kind of weird to me. But we'll see. They'll bring, what they'll call their A squad next time. We don't want to get into excuses really, but they'll have a more talent coming in next time. You would hope, but we'll see who that is.
The first step in changing a program is recruiting.
For sure.
You take any program, you need to bring in the right people.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take Team USA recruiting some A-tier players. Whether it's the Damian Lillards, your Kevin Durant's. Maybe you get an old LeBron James in there just kind of to lead and build a culture for Team USA. Because look at the squad that they brought. Really young, on the rise guys.
Yeah, it was all their first time.
Yeah. You're bringing in guys who aren't necessarily leaders, veteran leaders on their teams.
Yep.
They're guys that they're going to send out there for 40 minutes to go hoop while their legs are fresh.
Yeah.
So I think some veteran leadership on the player side, because, there was some valuable coaches on the staff, but you need to bring in those veteran leaders who are going to establish a culture and establish a fundamental way of how to carry out these wins.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear to say the rest of the world has more pride than the United States does. They care more and they want to win. A lot of guys on these international teams would die to get this opportunity, but the guys on the U.S. team are just there for a cool little vacation or something. Who knows what's going on with them? But it just feels like they don't care enough. They lose, they're like a little frustrated, but at the end of the day, it's not like they've worked their whole lives to get there. Their goal was the NBA, and apparently international stage doesn't matter, or at least that's what it seemed like throughout this tournament. Because a lot of plays are lazy. It just wasn't enough effort, and it's not something you like to see, as the rest of the world has kind of caught up to the United States in terms of passion for basketball, and they just care more. Probably starting out from younger and working the guys up through would be helpful as well. A lot of these international teams have played together almost their whole lives, and then you have United States getting there 2 weeks before and trying to run that into something, which usually it's just not good enough. So I think developing big men would be another great thing, because the United States big men pool is kind of shallow. It's not great. Outside of the guys they had, which was like Walker Kessler and Jaren Jackson, maybe you throw like Bam in there and like a really injury-prone Anthony Davis, and those are like the only other bigs you have in terms of the United States. I know Embiid is kind of on the edge from like France and the United States, but we need more big men.
Would Myers Leonard count?
No, Myers Leonard does not count. We don't want him there. They lost to Lithuania pretty much exclusively because they were getting bullied down low. They need more size, and I think that's something that they really need to work on from the ground up. Maybe Chet Holmgren can be a great international big man, but we'll see. There's a lot of things to work on inside the program.
Where's Luka Garza from?
He feels like he's not American. I would say that. You can look it up, but I'm pretty sure.
Hey Siri, where's Luka Garza from? He's from Washington, D.C.
Oh, perfect. He could play.
Bring Luka Garza on the squad.
I don't know if Luka Garza solves the problems. I'm not certain on that.
How do you eat an elephant? One step at a time. One bite at a time. one bite at a time. And maybe Luka Garza would be that one bite in the right direction.
Maybe he would be. Clearly not every country has great big men. I mean, you look at Canada, they were having like Dwight Powell and Kelly Olynyk.
Well, Dwight Powell, Stanford legend.
Dwight Powell is fine internationally. He's not great. He's fine. But you got these other countries with Jonas Valanciunas, who's really good internationally. Nikola Vucevic was pretty good in this tournament as well. And Jokic is going to be in the tournament. Giannis is going to be in the Olympics as well. Both of those guys are going to compete. So something needs to be done, at least with the big men. But you have anything else you want to talk about with Team USA?
You know, I've spoke a lot about Team USA and just the culture that needs to establish. I also think that they need to run a more system-based offense. Yeah. And they also need to pride themselves on defense a little bit more. Yeah. But starting out with the offense, you see these other teams, and they work on these offenses for years. Like, True. They come in, they run a system. United States basketball is,
it's like all right, pickup.
We got hoopers. Go out there and score. Like, occasional pick. Like, watching them, I don't think they really had, like, a plan.
No.
And we kind of saw that with Steve Kerr's coaching of the Warriors. He kind of lets them go out there and play that ISO ball. You know, there's been times, if you remember the good old Warriors teams with Kevin Durant, Steve Kerr would put the clipboard in Draymond's hands and he'd take the game off. And that's kind of what it felt like at times. And, you know, looking at the defensive side of things, they did not care.
No.
They did not care. They did not pride themselves on defense, and defense wins championships, and you have to establish defense first in order to win games. And moving forward, if they want to win, they have to pride themselves on defense.
Oh, for sure. Other countries much more fundamental than the United States. We've seen that throughout the tournament. Better passers, better ball movement. I think that was a big thing with Team USA. A lot of stoppage. It was very slow and really kind of like AAU basketball to a certain extent. They need more ball movement. When they had, Coach Pop, when they had Mike Krzyzewski, they really focused on fundamentals. They focused on ball movement, and they focused on giving up your egos and working as a team and as a unit. And I think that's something that they need to get back, but that'll be established at the coaching level, probably more than the players. But we can shift to the world champions. Germany, the world champions of the FIBA World Cup. People didn't really expect Germany to be all that competitive in it. I think some people thought, maybe they'd make it through the group stage and then lose their next game. But they were very good. They were really impressive throughout, really impressive in the lead up to the whole thing. I believe the USA beat them in a, pre-World Cup scrimmage. That's not the point. Germany was better, led by Dennis Schroder, really the point guard for
MVP.
Germany. Yeah, he was great. Both the Wagner brothers, again, were very good. Some guy with the last name Obst was pretty good. OBST, I think. No offense to that brother. He was a EuroLeague bench guy, but was great in the World Cup, so props to him.
Just show up at the moment.
But Germany, kind of steamrolled through the whole competition and really were pretty consistently the best team throughout. Didn't lose a game the entire tournament, and were really impressive, and props to them because they are now the world champions.
We saw that moment with Dennis Schroder and his coach getting in that altercation.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Yeah, maybe that moment set the tone moving forward for Germany.
Yeah, it could have.
And they showed up, and Germany just played great basketball together.
They did.
Franz Wagner, he was amazing. The Wagner brothers, when they play in Europe, they turn into prime Kobe and MJ. I saw Mo Wagner a couple summers ago for Germany score 36 points in a game, and he was on fast break dunks, two hands. He was pulling up and shooting balls, and I remember thinking, man, these guys are good. These guys are talented, and then they come over to the NBA and they're barely playing. But when these guys go over in Europe, play for their countries, they have pride. Yep. We do not have pride. We do not care.
The pride is lacking. We might have the pride of a wrong kind. We're not gonna touch on that. We're gonna
but Franz Wagner,
very good, is going to continue to be good during the NBA season, I believe. I think he's going to be really good with the Magic this year.
Yeah.
Probably one of him or Paolo make the All-Star game. I think there's a pretty decent chance of that. And one of the best young forward duos in the league. Could end up being kind of similar to like a Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum over time.
Yeah, with Cole Anthony kind of leading the charge there. Like,
yeah,
he's going to
Cole
set
Anthony,
them up.
Markelle Fultz, you know, all the guys.
I don't know who Markelle Fultz
Anthony
is.
Black, you know.
I know Cole Anthony.
He only knows Cole Anthony. That's the only guy that matters.
Exactly.
Maybe you throw Mo Wagner out there at starting center. He was so good. You know?
No, yeah, it was great.
But, you know, maybe FIBA doesn't necessarily translate to the NBA. Have a little bit different rules. But I was still impressed with Franz. I think he was good throughout the tournament. Kind of fought through a knee injury as well and ended up being a pretty solid contributor for Germany. And I think that they're going to continue to be good because these guys that made an impact are all pretty young. I mean, Dennis Schroder, he's got plenty of years left. So do both the Wagner guys. And Isaac Bonga, my guy.
Isaac Bonga.
Former Laker and Wizard. That's right, 2K legend, Isaac Bonga.
Put him on your hoop grid.
Oh, yeah, he was great. And I was really impressed with the team basketball. The team that they beat, Serbia, was pretty good as well.
Yeah, yes.
People thought without Jokic they would be bad. But in comes Bogdanovic, lighting up the whole tournament.
Shooter.
He's been kind of like a six-man in the NBA, but, I mean, hey, internationally, he was phenomenal.
I mean, I remember when he started a few games with the Kings and stuff.
Yep.
He had a game winner against the Lakers a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And with the Hawks, he's kind of been in between roles. He was hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But, man, that boy can hoop.
He's a bucket getter.
You put him with that Serbia across his chest, and all of a sudden, my boy is like sidestep shots. He's taking it to the bucket.
Yeah.
Like,
he said, hey, let me be the lead option. I'm going to cook. This is my time right
honestly, put me on one of those Oceania Island teams with guys who have never seen a basketball before. I'm making things happen. You give me 10 days, and we're getting wins.
I think Bogdanovic heard about that John Collins trade. He said, get me in the starting lineup, coach.
Yes.
I deserve to be out here. He was really good. I was impressed with him throughout the tournament. He was very good. And they're going to add Jokic. They're going to add that dude Micic, who's on the Thunder, reigning EuroLeague MVP, is going to come in. The Serbians are going to be pretty good throughout the next few years as well. But we can shift and we can talk about the big thing from the FIBA World Cup. Noah Lyles making fun of the NBA. The world champions of what? The United States? Kind of a goofy way to say things. But to some extent, a lot of people would say he's right. The United States lost pretty embarrassingly. Fell out pretty early in terms of like what people expected. And a lot of people said, hey, he's right. They're not world champs. These NBA guys, they don't have it in them. And it was a great day of victory for Noah Lyles this morning. And the couple days ago as well. It's been a kind of a victory lap for sprinter Noah Lyles.
I've seen, on social media when he said that quote, he was getting bashed.
He was.
He was getting clowned.
I called him out. I said he was wrong.
NBA players were clowning him. People around the media, fans, thousands and thousands of people clowning Noah Lyles.
Drake was upset. Drake was going at him.
Yeah, everybody just attacking him.
Yeah.
And then the past few days happened. And everyone is all of a sudden saying, Noah Lyles was right.
He's a genius.
He's a genius. He knows. And I don't think Noah Lyles, I don't think he realizes how much publicity he's receiving right now.
Yeah.
With all the people sending Noah Lyles gifts of him celebrating in the comment section. It's all Noah Lyles. And, he did make a comment saying, I love NBA basketball. I'm a supporter.
Yeah.
I just was saying. But no, right now I know he's thinking in his head, I was right. I knew it all along.
I told you so.
I told you so. And so Noah Lyles calling out Team USA, and he spoke it into existence because right now, Team USA, not on top. Not world champions.
No.
And I did see a few comments in the comment section when Dillon Brooks got, Defensive Player of the Tournament. Yeah. That's why I made the comment earlier when they were like, so he got Defensive Player of the World? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Is Noah Lyles right? Tell us in the comments.
He might be. I saw a funny Nick Batum tweet today who said,
Batum.
"Congratulations to Germany, the planet Earth champions," because he didn't want to say world champs, didn't want to get in the hot water. I respect that Noah Lyles has made a ton of fans, not just in the United States who, thought he was right originally, but outside of the United States, all the European countries, all the, Asian countries, they're going to love him because of what he said, because he stood up for the rest of the world's basketball and has kind of really raised himself up to a celebrity. He might be an A-lister now. Who knows?
Apparently, everyone will be tuning in to Noah Lyles' next competition.
Yeah, that's right.
Catch Noah Lyles on the track.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the microscope.
Yeah, he's on a slippery slope here, He loses one race, all the comments will be, world champion of what? It's not going to be a great turnaround for Lyles. But
he better win every sprint that he runs from now on.
But as of right now, he's high up, he's living.
News report tomorrow is Noah Lyles has retired from professional track and field.
Noah Lyles is going out on top of the game. It says no more. But I don't have too much more to say about that. You have any final thoughts as we near the start of training camp for the NBA? We're getting close.
I saw that Boban Marjanovic re-signed with the Rockets.
Good old Boban.
Good old Boban.
Classic John Wick villain, Boban Marjanovic.
He realized those goldfish commercials weren't going to cut the paychecks for the rest of his
Yeah.
life. He said, I need to return.
Got to get myself back on the Rockets as the third-string center. Let's go.
Get paid to clap.
He heard Usman Garuba left. He said, maybe I can get the second-man center minutes. It'll be him and Jock Landale going at it for backup
What a
center.
competition. Big names.
It'll be something, for sure.
Led by Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet. Paid $300 billion to go win 20 games that year.
I'm talking about them tomorrow. That's my preview for tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
The Houston Rockets. Gonna win it all.
I don't know about that. Win the play-in tournament.
Dillon Brooks, the new NBA star. Who knows? He really lit it up.
One Dillon Brooks under 10-point game. He's disappearing.
We're waiting for the 39-point Dillon Brooks NBA performance on opening night.
Don't know about that. I feel like he has a target on his back.
He might.
He's the villain.
But maybe the contract looks a little more justified than it did when he signed it.
Yeah.
4 years, $80 million, something like that. People said, oh, what a disgusting overpay. But now he's the best defender in the world and a 39-point scorer in the bronze medal game. So he is more than deserving. I'll be excited to see what this does to NBA players as they enter camp. Are they going to be fatigued? What's it going to look like with guys like Reaves and Anthony Edwards, Mikal Bridges, who played a ton of minutes? What's it going to look like coming into the season? But we're excited. Pretty soon we're going to be able to talk about NBA basketball.
That's right.
Yes.
Real games.
Back to real games.
We'll be up here. We might live stream some reactions to games.
We'll talk about preseason basketball.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We love preseason third-string G Leaguers. Jimmy Butler third-string practice vibes.
I want to watch the Spurs play Mets 92. Victor Wembanyama revenge game against his former team.
I want to see the classic Jimmer Fredette preseason Shanghai Sharks games.
Maybe Kai Soto comes over and we'll have a fun time, But yes, we're excited. We're getting there. That's probably going to be about it for us. I'm going to shout out my series, 30 Teams, 30 Days. We're previewing a team every day. We're vibing. We're talking about everybody. Follow the channel, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about the 2023 FIBA World Cup because we're done talking about it. So that's it. Do you have anything you want to shout out?
I want to shout out the Houghton College baseball Instagram. We're going to be posting some fire workout videos here in the next week. So make sure you guys follow. We're Houghton University now, but we're not techie enough to update the name. It's Houghton College Baseball. Go follow us. We're going to have some high content coming in soon. It's going to be really cool.
Very exciting coming up the next week or so. Yes. Thank you guys for watching. That's probably going to be about it for us today. So have a good rest of your week. Think about subscribing. That's it for us.
Road to 1 million.